Your attention, as of the 21st, you also received 50 letters and faxes and at least 44,000 emails before we had to shut our email account down temporarily.
Does that mean somebody's upset?
Interested, lots of interested people. So with that, commissioners, we're at the discussion phase of our workshop. Staff and various speakers are here to answer questions if you have any.
Okay, I'm going to start. And first of all, we clarified at the beginning of the meeting, but still a lot of speakers pointing the finger at us that we have to make a decision. And we clarified that we can't make a decision. We can make a recommendation to the department. Director Bonham explained earlier that the department and this commission have a really good relationship. It's probably as good, if not the best, since I've been around. And I'm sure that whatever recommendation we make to the department will be considered very strongly, as he had reiterated earlier. I'm going to surprise some people, probably. Caitlin Jackson and Karen Garrison aren't even here anymore, but knowing them like I do, they'll be watching it, if not now, later on. And Eric Endersby, I think you said it best. I've been involved in this MLPA process from the beginning, and I fought hard throughout the process to get the best deal I could for the fishermen. And ultimately, we've got some great marine protected areas up and down our coast now. And I got the best deal in my fight that I could get out of it for the fishermen. And now we've got marine protected areas that if not as equal, I'll be the strongest advocate to keep protection now that they're in place. This is not about PG&E. If it was one or the other, if it was another nuclear power plant, it would be Southern California Edison or Simple Energy or whoever it is. It's about whoever happens to be involved in this deal. We told or asked PG&E at the last commission meeting that they would go as far as to do a worldwide search to try to find another technology to do this study other than what they're doing. And they told me in private, I mentioned the bubbles that worked with the pile driving and those kind of things, and they said that's not going to work in this deal. But you know, the United States doesn't have a monopoly on technology, and until you do a worldwide search of different types of technology that are out there, we don't know if it's a better technology or not. It's kind of, I mean, some of the best doctors in this country come from India and other countries. And so we don't have a monopoly on any one thing in this world other than no, I better not say that. But anyhow, it's a marine life protected area. It's not a marine life killing area. And as long as I'm here, we're not going to recommend to the department anything that's killing what we're trying to protect. I complained during the process that we were picking the best fishing areas, taking away from the fishermen the best fishing areas when we set these areas up. And the response from y'all and everybody else was, that's going to grow more fish to come outside of the areas for the fishermen to participate in. Well, that's not going to happen if we allow this type of thing to go on. So that being said, I'm ready to hear from my fellow commissioners.
Mr. President, if I may, if you don't mind,
Commissioner
Sutton,
Rogers,
you can
and then Commissioner Sutton.
drag up the rear there. You're used to that. Thank you, Mr. President. A number of things. First of all, I would like to really reiterate my appreciation of state lands and the California Coastal Commission for their significant participation with the department and with the commission staff here over the last couple of weeks. It's been very appreciated. The dialogues have been very intense and in depth, and we think that we're getting their best thinking at this point in time. And I encourage them to proceed, both of those institutions, particularly the California Coastal Commission, because they are in a decision loop as we speak. I encourage them to proceed with caution, that any uncertainty of this magnitude is a very dangerous thing. And so if and I know that the California Coastal Commission appreciates that, and I think they need to proceed with caution. I don't have to tell them that. I'm sure they know that themselves. There was another thing that wasn't brought up today that I had heard in a presentation to this commission and in the State Land Commission, although I was not there. PG&E made a representation that they had planned about $1.2 million worth, at least, worth of mitigation to the local fishermen, and to engage them in doing activities and things of this nature. From what I understand, they've pulled back on that and faded on that presentation they made to us and made to state lands. I'm disturbed by that, and I would like to know more about why PG&E has done that. Because if that's true, that's leaving not only those who are on the consumptive end of the ocean resources in that area, but also those, in addition to them, who are on the non-consumptive end of that. Apparently, we're going to get a comment here. Good. I'm glad to hear that, because that was rather disturbing to hear that. And I would also encourage those of you who are here, remembering that we are not going to be the ones that the Coastal Commission has to issue a permit. The department issues a different sort of a scientific take, but the next step here is the Coastal Commission. Thank you for showing up here, and thank you for being so passionate, which is always a wonderful thing to see. When people speak with their hearts as well as their minds, which is useful. That is a very good thing, and I'm really glad that you guys are here. You're eloquent, and you're needed in these environments. Thank you very much for doing that. Do that with the Coastal Commission. Please do that. They're going to be meeting. They're going to be meeting after our next meeting, which is a week from tomorrow, a day after tomorrow in this chamber. Meet with them. Make sure you do. And then the only advice I would have for the department is to take your time, as I know you will, and I would recommend seeing letting the Coastal Commission do their work and seeing what our needs to look like vis-a-vis what I'm sure that's what you're going to do anyway, Chuck. But those are the only comments I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Sutton.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's a pleasure to be in agreement with you. A rare pleasure, but one I enjoy. Like my fellow commissioners, I've seen nothing in our deliberations over this project to convince me that this program is either advisable or necessary. And I can't make a recommendation to the department I can't, in good conscience, make a recommendation to the department that you issue the permit. I think it's telling, for one thing, that PG&E itself originally opposed the passage of the state law that now requires them to conduct these studies. It's important to recognize that this is not the Navy sonar issue. Several people have raised that. This is a very different issue. Maybe not different to marine mammals, but certainly different from a legal perspective. Keep in mind, 2008, the Supreme Court ruled that Navy sonar exercises could proceed despite the killing of marine mammals because national security trumped marine mammal protection. That is not the case here. We are not talking about, there's no court that I know of has made the decision that nuclear safety trumps marine mammal protection. And I'm not convinced that in this case nuclear safety would be advanced, as some people have alluded to. So about the only potentially significant outcome or useful outcome I could see from this project, Mr. President, is that it might give us sufficient information that the seismic risk is so great that the plant be commissioned. And that might be a useful outcome indeed.